Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special Sunday edition of the All Elite Ensemble review, your weekly AEW post show here at BC Wrestle Pod. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC Wrestle Pod, and joining me, as always, is my co host, the man with the plan, who is a great stan and loves AEW as much as I do. Mr. Bear Dido himself, Benny the Bear, is in the house. So happy to have you here, my friend, on this Sunday evening. Thank you once again for joining me.
Not a problem, man. Hell of an introduction. Hell of an introduction. What else can I say? But greetings and salutations. Let's rock and roll.
Well, to the guests, and also you will be seeing a lot of me and Benny this week because the wrestling stars have aligned, and they decided great shows, but they're all in one weekend. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, right.
So it's gonna be a special week here at BC Wrestle Pod because a good chunk of these shows, me and Benny are gonna be here. But that's okay because we love professional wrestling and lots of good stuff to talk about. And we are here specifically this special Sunday AEW post show edition to talk about the Wednesday, June 3rd and Saturday, June 6th editions of Dynamite and Collision. We are officially 3 weeks out until Forbidden Door, which is crazy to say. So we still got some stuff happening. And you know what, AEW, I have to say I appreciate you sticking to the point and kind of making everything blend together this week. And I say that as lovingly as I can because then next week you go back, you're back on your BS because we got a Wednesday and a Thursday edition of a special Dynamite and Collision summer blockbuster editions of the shows on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm like, uh
I know,
this
right?
the summer specials are here because we got summer blockbuster, Forbidden Door, Beach Break, Redemption, but it's all good stuff. I cannot wait to talk about this. So let's get into it. So we are going to start like we always do here on our show. We're going to start with AEW Dynamite. We're going to start with AEW Dynamite, in which this week, again, Dynamite back to 2 hours. We had a 3 hour special last week, and it's back to 2 hours. And honestly, they just gave us lots of graps and some stuff backstage. I was like, you know what? I like it when you tighten it up a little bit and you give us the necessary components for this week. So Dynamite this week kicks off with a confrontation between Roosh and MJF, who would be having an AEW championship match during the show. But because of this altercation and the brawl that proceeded to happen after this, their match turned into a no count out, which I was like, I had to, upon my second watch through, I was able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Which then also, because LFI adjacent, Andrade tells Roosh that he's there. He is rooting for Roosh, become the first Latin AEW World Champion and get it because it's great. And then we proceed into our official match that opens up the show proper, the AEW World Championship, MJF taking on Roosh El Toro Blanco. I cracked up with MJF coming out as a matador. I'm like, good God, Max never change.
Max, ever the troll. Ever the troll.
For reals. This match was gnarly. I was just like,
Hmm.
yeah, I knew was going to eat some crazy stuff from Roosh because it's Roosh and Roosh hits hard. And I like it when Roosh hits hard.
Yeah. This is probably the longest match we've seen from Roosh, probably in AEW, at least in a long time, you know? Since like probably 2022 or whatever, you know? And I really, speaking of like the things beforehand, I was like, wouldn't it make sense to like be like to flip flop those? You know what I mean? But like, I guess it's because of the continuity era, because like Bruce was already in his gear, you know. So like, but now that you pointed out that Bruce attacked at Max, now it makes sense. Never mind. But I digress. This was a really fun match, man. Like I liked that the green cord was back. I always love the green cord. Uh, uh, and it's it sucks about the news coming out of this match, but it was it was a certified banger. Like this might be one of my uh, end of the year list candidates for television matches for sure.
For reals. And again, AEW, I feel like so far this year has done a really good job of giving us like pay-per-view level matches on television every week, which is always fantastic, which I believe makes me excited to be like, hey, this was great. So now let me buy this pay-per-view to see what else you gonna give me. Max ends up winning this match and retaining the AEW World Championship. Of course, Benny, you mentioned that there is some news that came out of this match with, MJF possibly suffering some sort of knee injury. But according to the reports, it seems that it is not enough where Max is going to need to, take some time away and recover, but his should be okay for Forbidden Door, but they will monitor the situation. Um, but yeah, and Roosh, this is not the last we would see of you this week because we're going to talk about you because you were also involved in a match on Collision, which we'll get into. But
Mm.
Max retains. There's, but yeah, the green cord is always a fun time. I was like just whipping people with cords. Roosh, never change, never change. So after our world championship match, we just roll on in too because I'm like. When this was announced like an hour before the show, I'm like, this gonna be an interesting one.
Mm.
I was just like, so again, I should say everything kind of blends itself together in Dynamite because after the match, Mark Briscoe comes out, MJ Max and Mark fight, Mark gets load blowed, and then it just leads into this match: Mark Briscoe versus the Blackheart, Leo Rush. I was entertained. I loved it. This match was fun.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I love the conglomeration doing the reverse Silent Hill, like turning into statues as Leo Rush sort of creeps around them, playing into the if we don't move, you can't see us gag, a gag that they did last week. I love that.
Mhm. I really do
Uh,
too.
this was a fantastic TV match. I really don't have much to say about it other than these were two fantastic characters working both gimmicks to the tilt.
Agreed. It's just
Uh, promo
entertaining.
af-
Yeah, go ahead.
the promo afterwards though it was a little bit interesting.
I know. I found it okay, so let's talk about that, right? So Mark Briscoe wins, which this match was fun. And then Marks cuts this promo. And I was just like, whoa, Mark, you got really serious there during this promo, my guy. Because usually you are the happy go lucky, fun loving guy. And you only ever get serious if someone's talking bad about your brother. You know, but Mark cut this promo, and by the end of it, I'm like, that is the realest promo I have ever heard you cut, Mark. And I was just like, you pulled at my heartstrings. But I'm also wondering, I was like, where did this come from? Not like in a negative, bad way, but I was like, what emotional depths did you go to cut this promo, man? That's ooh. I was just like, this is an interesting beat for Mark, what I took at the end of it. I was like, "Where are we going?" I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah. Um, I will say that like the subtext of the promo was not for me, but it was delivered in such a great way that I can respect where it came from. Um, I will always respect Mark Briscoe because like he's probably one of the most versatile acts that they have on in the mid card right now because if you need him to be serious, he could be serious. If you need him to be silly, he could be silly. Like you're pretty much getting the same match every time uh, at this point, but or at least not the same match, but he has a formula, you know. Um, and he and Leo really did a great job, and I love that they called back the fact that Mark had beat MJF back in like September at all out, I believe. In that
Yep,
the
All Out
Texas,
Toronto, the tables and tax match.
yeah. Uh, I love a little callback. You know, that's it's nice that AEW can play off their own history.
Mm-hmm. So the saga of Max and Mark Briscoe will continue on a little bit later, but we keep the show rolling as we get into, again, we just go into our next segment in which we hear from the Triangle of Madness. And let me tell you, I have to say, Tekla, I love you. This promo in particular, though, I was just like, she is so unhinged, and I love her because Homegirl grabs a whole entire ladder just to go up and spit on the Stardom logo, and I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, it was very interesting because she's like, I'm the idol killer, and I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, oh my god, if Tony Khan can pull this off for Forbidden Door, I will be in love. So we already know that Tekla's gonna fight somebody from Stardom, right? Because that is what it's setting up because of the last couple of weeks of Tekla talking bad about Stardom and even the president of Stardom commenting on social media with this as well. But that idol killer gimmick, I was just like, if Tony Khan pulls this off and we get a Tekla versus Saya Kamitani match, the Dark Phoenix Queen coming in. There's a plethora of women in Stardom that could come on over. I am hoping though it is Saya Kamitani versus Tekla. The Dark Phoenix versus the Toxic Spider is a marquee match. And Tony Khan, if you make this happen, I will be forever. Well, I mean, I love AEW in general, but I will lose my absolute mother tucking mind. The Dark Phoenix Queen versus the Toxic Spider. Make it happen, Tony. Make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And you know they do have a Global Wars coming up in
Like
next month, right?
2 weeks before, yeah.
So I expect some things to happen there to set up some matches for Forbidden Door. Finally, finally, we
My
get some connective tissue. It's not
like
just hey, it's just not random select on the Street Fighter game. You know?
it seems and we'll talk about this more when we get to Collision, but it seems that with the people that they have from CMLL and Stardom, like especially in the digital exclusive promos that we're getting, it seems that we
Yeah.
might be setting up like inter promotional matches. And we're gonna wait until we get to Collision because there's a certain CMLL women's champion that is still having beef with the Triangle of Madness, and that might set something up. So we're gonna talk
Hmm.
about that later. But yeah, this promo was mostly talking about how the path to gold for all three members is there. You know, Tekla is the women's world champion. Sky Blue is in the Owen Hart. Julia is looking to get that TBS championship back. And then she also took some time to spit on Stardom's logo with the ladder, which was crazy to watch, but it was kind of entertaining. So Triangle of Madness is doing stuff. And you know what? Very interesting to see what's going to happen. Now, we move on from this segment from the Triangle of Madness into our next match. And I was just like, ha! Speedball Mike Bailey, them feats should be registered because those my friend are weapons of mass destruction.
Absolutely. And you know, Don Callis coming out and uh, you know essentially bringing Jet into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
was not a wrinkle that I saw coming, but it's much needed for him at this point, because it gives him a grace of greatness. Like you're gonna be standing next to Okada, so you can't do much better than that. You know.
Mm-mm. So yeah. So Kevin Knight is in the Don Callis family, and then again we get to this match and
Yeah. This match was fantastic. Clearly, there's an old adage that they used to say in wrestling, like you always hit your friends hardest.
mm-hmm.
Like, and boy, did they not let up, man. They were this match friggin' rules.
I was so I love this match. I really do. Again, I was just like pay-per-view worthy matches on television. Jeez Louise. And
And poor,
honestly, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, and poor Speedy had his heart broken again because Jake something got involved in a match with a jet. Oh my
Oh my gosh. His tag team partners are just turning on Speedball and like poor Speedball, poor Speedy man, like just can't catch a break right now. Oh man, but this match ruled, and because of interference from Doyle and the DCF, Kevin Knight retains the TNT Championship. Again, Kevin Knight cuts the promos. He cut the dead weight off, is in the Don Callis family, and he's coming he is trying to become Kevin Two Belts. So he's coming for that world championship. I'm like, all righty, got more people calling out MJF for title matches. Like, this is fun. This is what this world championship needs to be. Um, I don't think this will be the last time we see Kevin and Speedy go at it in over the summer. But I'm interested to see where we go next with Kevin Knight and who he's going to feud with for a little bit. But great match, fantastic stuff. Yes, I will see 18 more of these types of matches, please. Love it. Thank you.
yes,
Muchas gracias.
yeah.
So,
This was just the beginning.
oh, 100%. So we go from our TNT Championship match into a backstage segment. Finally, I was like, we didn't really have too many backstage segments on Dynamite this week, but the dogs are with Renee. They talk about how they, fought Christian Cage and Cope, and they want a shot at those tag titles. The Bucks are like, y'all are being very disrespectful. What if we wanted to do that? So essentially, this is setting up a number one contenders match at some point, which we get confirmation on Collision when that is happening. So it seems that the dogs and the Young Bucks, are on a collision course, no pun intended, to become number one contenders for the tag titles. And I'm like, Bucks love you. You should not win this match.
Yeah, I'm actually really, really big on the dog right now too myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Nick Jackson is just a silly, silly boy. What the dog doing? Oh man, and like I just realized this as you were leading this in, that AEW is doing a great job right now of working around the gimmick infringement. They got the dogs doing the kazoos and the 5 second poses, and then Ciampa's doing like all the
Jericho
Jericho
stuff.
stuff.
Oh my goodness. It's good. It's fun workarounds, honestly, that are very entertaining to watch. I am sports entertained, AEW.
Yes, I'm totally here for it.
So at this point in the week, I was sitting here wondering, I wonder when we're going to get this match. And then I got what I needed on Collision. I was like, go and talk about that later. But we move on from this backstage segment because Max is taking an ice bath and Renee is interviewing him while he's in said ice bath. And he says, I am going to keep this title. I will fight anyone except Mark Briscoe. And literally, without saying the words, he's like, Mark Briscoe can take a dive. Like, essentially, he's like, anybody, I will fight anybody except for Mark because F you, Mark Briscoe. So this was fun. I was
Oh
just
man.
like, oh, we're interviewing in the ice bath. We love it.
Yeah. Uh, Wrestling's a weird industry, right? Like, what is an HR complaint? you know, like in this instance, there's also other stuff that I take that back. Never mind. Delete this one.
Control Alt Delete.
Control delete.
So again, Max is like, I will fight anyone except you, Mark Briscoe. Fuck you. The beef is real, and I love it. I don't think it's going to be a Forbidden Door, but literally with a pay per view called Redemption, Mark Briscoe versus MJF at Redemption would be great.
Imagine Mark Briscoe as the AEW World Champion.
Oh
That'd be
my
so.
gosh.
I'm
I'm
here
here
for it, to be honest with you.
to quote another wrestler in another company. Yes, let's burn it down. Listen, I'm a chaos gremlin sometimes. I love me some good chaotic fun, and let's be chaotic good together. So yeah, MJF summarize this. MJF is like, I will be a fighting champion, except against you, Mark Briscoe. You could take a dive because it's not happening, bub. uh, so we leave MJF in his ice bath and the big B, and we go into this match. So, of course, originally, for those of you who are just catching up, originally we were supposed to get Willow Nightingale versus Alex Windsor in a Owen Hart women's quarterfinal match at Double or Nothing. However, Willow has a shoulder injury, and so she had to be pulled from the tournament, and she also vacated her TBS championship. And we talked about it last show that the TBS championship on July 1st will be defended in a survival of the fittest match. Now, when we get to Collision, I couldn't find the picture, but we are going to talk about the 6 women who have declared themselves for it. And I'm just like, so are these the 6 participants, or are we going to have like actual qualifying matches? Because I'm still a little confused about that, Tony Khan.
Yeah, that,
But
from what I know, that they're gonna have qualifying matches.
yeah, that's what I hope so. And I mean, when we get to Collision, we'll talk about the first 6 that have revealed themselves to be participating in said qualifying matches, which we'll talk about when we get there. But because Willow had to be pulled, Alex and Willow's match was off at Double or Nothing. And now Alex Windsor would be facing a wild card. And so Alex makes her entrance, and we're sitting there wondering who is the wild card. The pyro goes off, and then the familiar music of everyone that has been watching AEW the last year and a half is very familiar with. And just because it's my show, our wild card is revealed to be nobody else other than CEO. CEO Mercedes Monet has made her return, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, you know what, Mercedes? It's been long enough. I have missed you, girl. I was just like, I was hoping it was Queen Aminata, but you know what? At least she's gonna be hopefully qualifying in this TBS Championship Survival of the Fittest match. But the CEO is back. Um, I know we all have some mixed feelings about, Mercedes before, but before she went away, we did talk about how good and impressive her work was before she went on vacation. And now she's back. And her and Alex Windsor put on a kind of a banger. I actually really enjoyed this match with Mercedes picking up the victory here. I feel bad for Alex Windsor, but I also am conflicted because I have missed Mercedes and I do appreciate that she is back. I wasn't sure if she was going to be more of a face or a heel, and then Collision definitely solidified that answer for me. But Benny, how did you feel about Monet versus Windsor in this match?
Yeah, one thing I'll say first is that Mercedes, she's just not a face, like and I mean that lovingly and respectfully. She's
100%.
like my top 5 women's wrestlers of all time. So obviously, that is to say, I was happy to see her back. I'm of two minds on this one, because she clearly this clearly wasn't the route that they were going for because of
Mm-hmm.
Willow, which really sucks because Willow did nothing in that time, and the person who took her spot was Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is Mercedes, so that means that unfortunately the women's division will pick up now because she's back.
Mm-hmm.
But to get back to the match, this was probably my match of the week, because Alex Windsor, in the short time that I've been watching her, has really become one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's just so technically sound,
She is.
uh, and I feel like Mercedes might have found a wrestling soulmate in Alex Windsor, because
Hell yes.
the match that they had back in December, that match was amazing as well, and these two just like made for each other, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, great match, great match. Can't say enough about it.
Yeah, I think it worked really well. I mean, Mercedes coming back definitely was fun. The crowd was into it. Her moving on it's nice to see her back. Alex Windsor put up a hell of a fight, and even in defeat, Alex Windsor looks great. And I agree with you. I think Mercedes and Alex Windsor might be the fight forever soulmates. Like, honestly, because they work very well together and their chemistry is really good, and they just complement each other too. So, really fun stuff. And yeah, this was definitely one of my highlights of the week for sure. So we move on from our women's Owen Hart quarterfinal, and we get into a backstage promo where basically Okada's like, Takesha's a little bitch, and I'm gonna take that title back from him. I'm like, damn, Okada, never change.
Never change, Okada. Never change.
Okada is
Uh,
petty Betty, and I'm here for it.
Although I would like a full crash out from Okada. You
Oh
know,
my gosh, that'd be iconic.
like after he lost the belt to Kenny back in New Japan, he started like carrying around like red balloons, and then the Japanese wrestling authority was like, you can't bring balloons into the stadium, and then he started that started another crash out. Oh man, I love Okada so much.
hmm But yeah, Okada's just like, listen here, I'm taking this title back from Takeshita, and he's a bitch. Like, essentially, that's what it is. I mean, to be fair, that's the most important part. This went on for a little bit too long because Don Callis was talking for a long time before Okada came on screen. And I was like, it's the same thing. Y'all said you're gonna get these titles and get this gold, and then Okada's like, I'm gonna take this international championship back from Takeshita because he's a little bitch. And I'm like, that's all I needed. So Okada made his intentions clear. He is not done with Takeshita. So I'm like, oh boy, round two, here we come. So we'll see when we get that match. And again, with Kyle Fletcher also back and running around this picture scene too, because we were teasing that triple threat. Summer's going to be a very interesting run for Takeshita and the rest of the international championship picture scene, which I am here for. Can't wait. Okay, let's keep this going because after this, though, Benny. Ah! Holy shit, bro. Oh my. You get this.
Hmm.
You get one of these.
Hmm.
Um. Oh my god.
Around the world.
Yes. I have no words because this shit was awesome. Talk about pay-per-view quality match. This was sick.
You know, I love the eye patch. on Mark Davis. Um, at this point, it should just be all eye patch wrestling. Like how many eye patches have we seen throughout the 7 years of EW? It's like once a year at least.
So
you know,
many.
like
Kenny, Mark Davis, Danielson.
yeah. Cody even did the snake one for GI Joe. I digress.
Hmm.
In my notes, I just said I passed Jones. Um, this match was incredible. Like I had no doubt that this match was gonna be as good as it was. You know, and I'm really, really, really digging this hybrid Osprey.
It's another layer
Right?
for his
'Cause
offense, and it makes him even more deadlier. He is not just the aerial assassin anymore. He is the aerial and the grounded assassin too.
yeah, because like we all a lot of people forget that he uh been wrestling for a long time, so he has to pick up a lot of stuff. Um, I like the fact that like he was even though he was doing like the aerial stuff, he was working the arm the
Hmm.
entire time. So like he'd go to the arm and then he'd go do something different and then just come back to it a little while later, just to work on that. What do they call it? The death ground, the Fujiwara, right?
Yeah, this
Uh,
match was awesome. Like, yeah, and I cannot say this enough though too. Knowing a little bit of Mark Davis's story. I mean, he got into wrestling late. He's like in his
mm,
40s. He is a dad who decided to pick up wrestling just because he could. And he loved it. Him being presented as this monster killer who adapts. And Mark Davis to me is like the type of wrestler that's like a great dance partner. He works well with everyone he's gone up against so far, and he has found ways to complement their style while also being this big bruiser. Like, there is a certain level of wrestling IQ that you have to be aware of to be able to pick those moments to sell great, look like a monster, but you know, Mark Davis uplifts his opponents every time he goes up against someone, and I think Mark Davis doesn't get enough credit when it comes to that. And again, these two know each other very well. They have worked together a good chunk of their career too. Hell, we had
mm.
Osprey, Davis, and Fletcher all part of United Empire at one point, so these boys are very familiar with each other. But they still managed to surprise the hell out of me with the things that they were doing and the tricks that they were pulling out in this match. I was like, "Oh my god, I am not worthy of this match on free TV." Ah,
One thing I
but
will
no.
say about Mark
Mhm,
Davis is that you know to be in New Japan as long as he was, you have to be a fantastic wrestler. And the
mhm.
same thing goes for the uh, British wrestling scene or the European wrestling scene. So um, even if you're bad, you're gonna get good really quick because they're not gonna take it easy on you,
Mm-mm.
And speaking of progress, Mark Davis uh, had a great run in progress, like early on in his career. Um,
Mhm.
especially with a match against one that is now known as Gunther, then known as Walter. I
Mm.
encourage anybody to go out of their way to see a giant slug match between Mark Davis and Walter.
You wanna see a monster beefcake match, that is one of them to watch for sure.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
to conclude, man, this match was epic. Like the near countouts, this crowd was on fire the entire night, and I appreciate them for it. Like, especially during this match. Woo! This I was like, oh my God, this is only the semifinals. I thought this was the finals based on how they were getting me. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This felt like a Owen Hart final, and if this listen, this was just the semifinal, and I think what this did. So Will Ospreay wins with the skin of his teeth, but you know what? He was able to make Mark Davis tap. So Will has punched his ticket to Forbidden Door, and now he's waiting to see whether his opponent on the other side of the door is going to be Swerve or Brody King. And I will say what this match did for me makes me really excited to see how Swerve and Brody King, yeah, let's just kill each other and see how that works. Like,
Mm.
I'm excited for the other semifinal between Swerve and Brody this upcoming week on well, no, yeah, this week for Summer Blockbuster. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be fun. But yeah,
Mm.
what a main event. This was crazy, and what a way to end Dynamite. So, Dynamite, you did the darn thing this week. You just gave us good graps, and I loved it. Now, we get into the second half of our show in which we talk about AEW Collision. So, Collision is here. And Collision, you also gave us some pretty fun graps and stories, and everything had a through line this whole entire week for AEW television, which I appreciated. Because sometimes I feel like Dynamite and Collision end up being two different entities, but there was a through line through both episodes that had callbacks to what happened on Dynamite, as well as things that are to come for Summer Blockbuster this upcoming week, which makes me excited. So,
Mm.
things that, so I was very interested to find out that we were opening up the night with our Women's World Tag Team Championship match. Divine Dominion versus the champions, taking on the challengers of TJ. Uh, So I know I poo-pooed on the eliminator match like our on our last show because I was like, it was rough, it was not great. I will say that this was a little bit better. I will definitely say it was a lot better. Do I think it was a 5-star classic? No, but damn, TJ really brought the energy that I needed from them. They were guns blazing. Anna Jay, girl, I love you. I really, really do. I wish WWE would let you do more, but you brought it. Ty, you did your thing. But fucking shout out to Lena, man. Lena in this match went nuts. I was like, ooh. I was like, listen, Megan, you were great too, but Lena, I was like, ooh.
Mm. I've been saying this for a while. Like that's the problem that I've had with the 5 minute challenges is that
hmm
both both Lena Cross and Megan Bain can go. So like I'm not saying you can't tell a story in 5 minutes. Of course I can. But like you start to see through the holes of a squash match after a few weeks, you know, and they weren't doing anything interesting in that time, you know. If anything, they were beating their own time, and that's not interesting. It wasn't even being real taste, but I digress. This was really good. Um, I really enjoyed this one.
And I think to
Uh,
your point,
Ty
go
Mello.
ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that Ty Mello is one person I really love to watch because she either hits somebody or doesn't at all, and you know, but she's got an intensity about her that I really like.
I agree, and it definitely, you know what, her and Anna brought the energy that I wanted from them, and this was a fun match. But again, and to your point, Benny, I think this match proved that Megan and Lena don't necessarily need to rely on the 5 minute challenge like they've been doing so long. Because I'm like, just give them opponents, give them like 7 to 10 minutes, and then that to me that does better because like in this 8 to 9 minute match, like Megan and Lena had a good back and forth with another team. They still ended up winning in a dominant fashion. But to me, it adds more credibility to the champions by letting them just have regular matches instead of doing this 5 minute eliminator match that they've been doing every week. Like, just let them fight teams, and you can still give them these small short-term feuds until you eventually probably what at Wembley is going to be them versus the Brawling Birds. Like, that's where I still think we're going. I could be wrong though. But hey, let the girls just defend the titles regularly against some of the teams here in AEW, or even if you want, like we did at the 0 hour, like run back Zeta and Viva, but give them like actual time, not 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
anywho, I thought this was a really fun way to start the show. It definitely ended up a lot better than I thought it was going to be based on what we saw from the Eliminator match last week. And Divine Dominion continue to be your women's tag champions. So good stuff.
There was an
I enjoyed
interesting.
this one.
I was just gonna say that there was digital exclusive that Divine Dominion had cut,
Hmm.
um, which leads me to believe that there might be an interesting tag team might be coming down off Mount Olympus to to fight Divine Dominion.
Oh my God! Please let it be Zooksies in Olympia. Please let it be Zooksies in Olympia from CMLL, because Megan has already fought both of them in Mexico. Like when AEW, like Megan has fought in Mexico a couple times this year, and I'm like, please let it be Olympia in Zooksies. Anywho, because those
That's what
girls
we're
have
talking
also
about.
gotten to, yes, like just give us big women, meaty women matches. Like that's what I want to see at Forbidden Door. Like, anyways, good stuff. This was fun and entertaining to open up the show. We keep going though, because after this match, though, backstage, Josh Alexander is not here, but his spirit is still alive while he's out on injury because we have the Don Callis family continuing to beat up people backstage. I can't take Trent and
Yeah,
his skit seriously though. It's funny.
yeah. Trent is taking the Vice City a little bit too seriously in this one, right?
For reals.
Um, I like the juxtaposition though because like Rocky and Trent are like cool, calm, and collected, and then just chaos in the background. You know.
Lance Archer and Jake Doyle are just fighting people left and right. So again, they talk about how Takeshita was a cancer, they needed to get it out, and then they still be beefing with conglomeration. And Lance Archer lets us know that everybody dies, and Jake Doyle just screams at me, and I was like, "Ooh, fancy." So again,
That's all I need.
really, yeah. Honestly, I was like, "Oh, hey, how we doing?" But yeah, honestly, I think this subset of the Don Callis family has found its groove in what they are in terms of collision with RPG with Roppongi Vice and Lance Archer and Doyle. So I was like, you know what? I do like this little subset of the faction on Collision. And I'm like, oh, I'm okay with this. So we move on from this backstage though, because Shane Taylor Promotions are here, y'all. Shane Taylor has a squash match and beats Alan Angels in a couple of minutes, and then cuts a scathing promo talking about how STP is here and now they are the most violent faction on AEW, and they call out the Death Riders, and he calls out John Moxley to get his ass out there. I'm like, talk your shit, Shane.
Mm. Can we find? I just want to say, finally,
Thank
STP is on the main show.
God. So I think it's official. They are now on AEW permanently, which I am here for. Well, at least for the most part. Tiger Style still got the pure championship, so he'll be going back and forth, which is great. But yeah, finally STP is here, and they called out the Death Riders, which leads into our next match, Benny, because this was fan freaking tastic. We have the Death Riders in the form of Moxley, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli taking on Shane Taylor Promotions, which is, of course, our pure our ROH Pure Champion, Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty, and the Infantry um, of the Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. Um, this match was so much fun. Holy crap, man. The Obviously the Death Riders were great given this makeup of these three, but ooh man, the Shane Taylor promotions are here, and man, what a match for them. I was like, yes, finally, this is all we've been asking for, Betty. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. And something else we've been asking for. Trish is back.
Finally, and it seems that she's also on AEW full time. I was like, listen, let's get Trish wrestling, y'all, because they are great. Trish is fantastic.
Trish don't miss.
Trish don't miss.
You know, I love the spot where they've been setting it up for the last couple of weeks, where Captain Sean Dean does the BBC Bronco Buster, right? And then as he's doing it, like Carly and the rest of the gang sort of talk crap to the camera, right? And Mox just comes over and goes, "Nope," and just started beating everybody up, like because STP had been isolating Pac in the corner for like a wicked long time, and there was this one moment where they tagged in Claudio, and it was Claudio and Carly Bravo, and Claudio picks up Carly to do like a gut wrench uh, back suplex or something, and Carly's just fighting him the entire way, just like, oh my god, like, oh man, I love Carly Bravo so much. He's so great.
I do too.
And that Trisha Dora and Marina Shafir spot, I was like, ooh, yes, please. Can I have that? Can I have that, please?
Seriously,
That looks
that's
like a
all
nice
I
thing I'd
want.
like.
Seriously, I'm just like, give it to me now. um, no, this was a fantastic trios match. The Death Riders win. And Shane Taylor would not take this loss lightly because we would see a little bit later. He's like, nah, we're gonna take matters into my own hands because, like, nah, like we ain't done. We ain't done with this one. So we'll get there in a little bit. But Tommaso Ciampa makes Beef tap out using Jericho's moves, and then he immediately takes Beef outside and does it again. But this time with Tony Schiavone interviewing him, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm here for this. This is so silly, but I love it.
Yeah, this was great. Like, it was a squash match, which there was a lot of squash matches this week, but all of them had purpose, which was sort of nice. Unlike the last few weeks where it's like Roosh beats up a bunch of jobbers and then like, I want a title shot. Like, who'd you beat, man? But I digress. I really like that Champa used the lion tamer, Jericho,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a lion
Yep.
tamer. I really like the interaction on the outside with Champa and Tony Schiavone afterwards. That was really fun too.
It's fun stuff that's leading to Champa and Jericho whenever we're getting it. And honestly, I'm not gonna complain. I actually really like this direction we're going for. Like Tommaso Ciampa poking fun. And for us wrestling fans, he is utilizing history, like parts of Jericho's history and his move sets to poke fun at him and to just call him out on his BS essentially. And I'm like, I'm here for it, Champa. I love you.
Mm.
So really interested to see when and how Jericho responds to all of this, but we'll follow that storyline as it continues to develop on our AEW programming. Yeah. So after this squash match, though, again, Shane Taylor is not done with, figuring out between STP and Death Riders who's the most violent faction. But Shane Taylor, with the help of Trish Adora, calls out to John Moxley and lets him know that he the baddest. And we see him beat up Wheeler Yuta in the back. I was like, good old Wheeler Yuta getting beat up. I was like, if it was going to be somebody, it was definitely going to be Wheeler Yuta. But because of this, Shane Taylor makes it personal, and Shane Taylor calls out Moxley, which later in the show, Moxley answers that challenge and gives Shane Taylor what he wants. And this week on Dynamite, on the summer blockbuster edition of Dynamite, Benny, we are getting an AEW Continental Championship match, Moxley versus Shane Taylor. And I'm like, ah. Oh my God, it's gonna be a slobber knocker, as the kids say. They gonna hit hard.
This is the best timeline ever. Just relishing in STP being menaces, you know. And like, of course, it was Wheeler Yuta because and I'm surprised Mox even cared. He wasn't just like, oh, yeah, we all beat him up. Like,
That's what I was saying, but no. Moxley was just like, nah, you can't be, even if it is Yuta, you cannot be beating up on my people. So now we're gonna fight.
That's fair. He's a ride or die man, and I love Trish Adora just dancing over the broken corpse of Wheeler Yuta.
It's just, we love it. Trish is great. They're fantastic. Holy Toledo, man. But yeah, I'm excited for this Continental Championship match at Summer Blockbuster this week. One's gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Hands down. So we leave the broken corpse of Wheeler Yuta to move on to the next part, which on paper, I was like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about this match. And then I was like, you know what? This is a pretty good match. I like this one. And it actually gave us some stuff to, moving forward, because that Juice Robinson promo, though, I was just like, the juice is loose, you guys. He is back. And listen, David Finley, if you ever attack me with your dad's like sex toy, I was like, ah! I'm gonna whittle it down to the size and stick it up your urethra. I was like, ah! The juice is loose, you guys. That's insane to say, Juice Robinson. What are we doing? But I'm here for it, though. But anyways, this match was a lot of fun, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be too. But then again, Juice, Clark, David Finley, they got history together. So very fun stuff.
Yeah. But Bullet Club for life. Right? Like, this match was wicked fun. Juice, both these guys are really explosive and eccentric, right? And here comes the critique. I don't think it needed to be this long. I think they could have accomplished a lot without it being this long.
It went through like even 1.5 commercial breaks. Like, we did not need to go through like almost 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, and they started to lose the crowd, and I felt like I was sort of like, okay, you go wrap it up, but they wrapped it up really nicely. Yeah, I'm here for a Bang Bang Gang Dogs feud at some point.
When Gabe comes back, and then listen, we need Gabe and Jay White, and then like, I'm here for this feud. So who knows? We might be getting something like that. We'll see what happens. We know Gabe is out for a while, and we don't know the status of what Jay White is looking like in terms of his timeline of return. But hey, I also agree. I would have shaved like 6, minutes off of this match, and for my other critique, I'm gonna say a little bit later, shave 6 minutes off and give that 6 extra minutes because that main event was too short, in my personal opinion. That was too short. I was mad.
Mm.
I was like, we didn't even get to hit third. We barely got to second gear, and we didn't get to hit third gear in the main event. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But Clark Connors beats Juice Robinson, and they be beefing still. So I'm like, cool, love that. Speaking of Clark Connors, him and David Finlay cut this promo against the Young Bucks, and I'm like, yes, let's go. I cannot wait. um, so again, we find out that it's going to be the Bucks versus the Dogs in a semi number one contenders match on Summer Blockbuster Collision this week. So I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm hoping the Dogs win because I love you, Bucks, but we don't need to have you fight for the titles right now or ever anytime the rest of this year.
Yeah, right. Like it's the same critique about FTR right now, and it's just like, can we just do something else? Can we just do something else? Like, and that's all respect to the Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks.
hmm But I'm just like, nah, we can't be doing this, y'all. Oh man. But yeah, so that is set for Summer Blockbuster Collision. And we move on because this was also another fun match. AEW World Trios Championship match. The Conglomeration versus LFI, which is Sammy Guevara, Roosh, and Draglistico. And all I have to say is, damn, Roosh, you had a pretty good week. You had a pretty good week fighting for two different championships. Um, this was fun. I really did like this one. I thought this was good. I had a good time.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it was standard fare. Be honest with you,
that,
it was
that's
fun.
fair.
It was just it was everything you would expected from this from this graphic happened. You know.
Yeah. Standard affair. When we saw this happening, I was like, I think I know how this is gonna go, but it's gonna be a good time for sure. Um, Afterwards, though, when we get to the back really quickly, I do want to highlight this comment. I do love the conglomeration. That's my number one favorite team is the conglomeration from Mr. Aaron over here. The conglomeration, I think, have finally found their stride, and this trios championships with them all being in the with the Bad Packs is also working out. I'm telling you, I firmly believe that Orange Cassidy is collecting people, and the conglomeration is just AEW's version of chaos from New Japan. It's just crazy and silly and fun, which is fantastic. But speaking of our trios champions, so I had to go back and quickly watch it again because like I forgot where to put this. So I put this next picture here because backstage the conglomeration is confronted by Roppongi Vice.
Yeah.
Basically, Don Callis' family is making it known that they're still coming for these trios championships. And I'm like, again? I was like, we've already had you guys go up with against in a different format with three different individuals, and they couldn't get the job done. So I'm like, RPG Vice, like, what makes you think you're gonna be successful? Well, who knows? Crazier things have happened. And Orange, like when they leave, it's like, I need to go lie down somewhere. Agreed.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, like we know what's gonna
Same
happen, so
people
it's just like,
doing the
yeah,
same
same people.
things.
Yeah, so it's just like,
It sounds like
okay,
a broken record at this point.
yeah. Alrighty, let's move on though. My biggest complaint is this match was too damn short because I wanted 6, 7 more minutes. Like, damn. But in our main event, we have our other Owen Hart Women's Tournament quarterfinal match. The CMLL Women's Champion of
Mhm.
Persephone taking on Stardom's Hazuki. I know they pronounce it Hasuki, like Tony Schiavone, but I'm like, I'm gonna try to pronounce it like the way they do it in Stardom. So Hasuki and Persephone go at it. Of course, Persephone still has the makeup of when she got misted by Julia Hart a couple weeks ago. Um, so love that. Uh, I like this match. I didn't love it only because of how short it was. That's my biggest complaint. We could have taken a couple extra minutes off of the Juice and Clark Connors match and put it in this one. Like, I was so mad of how short it ended up being.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hazuki does beat Persephone. Mercedes Monet attacks both of them. A whole
Yeah.
brawl breaks out, and
This
that's
was
how Kingston goes off
fantastic.
the air.
What
Yeah.
a talent that Persephone is, man. Like she is something special.
100%.
Did you
No,
lose me?
I don't know if there is a delay between the two of us, but I agree with you about
Um,
Persephone.
yeah. This match was really fun. Somebody had pointed out to me that Persephone had called it um, the Blue Mist, and which is a really nice little wrinkle. So, like, perhaps Persephone may be joining the Triangle of Madness, which
Could be.
would really be great because
Mhm.
Thekla sort of needs a heater,
Mhm.
you know. And so this was all good. I'm glad glad that Hazuki is moving on, and what a great week of AEW.
Agreed. And on that lovely note, that's the end of our AEW post show for the week. We got Summer Blockbuster Dynamite and Summer Blockbuster Collision coming up this week. So already advertised, we have AEW Continental Championship match between Moxley and Shane Taylor. We also have our other two semifinal matches, or one semifinal, one quarterfinal for the Owen Hart. We are getting Swerve versus Brody King for the other men's semifinal, and we will find out who will be facing Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. We are also getting Sky Blue versus Sari. So I'm excited for that match to see who will be going on to face Athena in the semifinals on that side of the bracket. We also have Pac and Mark Briscoe. And then so far made for some summer blockbuster collision, the Bucks versus the Dogs for the number one contendership to the AEW World Championships. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun week this week for AEW, but it's also gonna be a fun week here at BC Wrestle Pod because we have a full busy week. Last week it was chill. We only had two shows. Now, pretty much there's a show every single day this week leading into the week. So tomorrow evening, just to run down this whole entire schedule this week. Tomorrow evening, we got Best of the Super Juniors 33 and Eve 150. Tuesday is Triple A's Los Noches de Grandes. So that's going to be our official first AEW, not AEW, our first Triple A post show, so that's going to be fun. Wednesday, we got NXT and CMLL. Thursday is Mystery Wrestling 26 and Progress Chapter 195, Wonder Brawl 2. And then Friday, we wrap things up with TNA. So, me and my good friend Benny here, we got to get up on out of here. But thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you and happy to have you here. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod, to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you tomorrow. as we talk about New Japan and Eve Battle Girls of Riot Wrestling. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.